titanium.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So anyway, the real question is, has anybody ever given you flowers before a fight?
No, no, and especially a bouquet that heavy. It was a heavy bouquet of flowers. They smell nice though.
I mean, you're a few days away from the fight now. You're confident as ever. Manny looks like he's perked up a little bit. I mean, the interest is really. He seemed focused today on what he's got in front of him. Is that because direct result of what you're doing, or?
He should be. He realizes this is a real fight. You know, I believe that him and his team are taking this fight very seriously and prepared very well. And you know, I've prepared the best that I can have, you know, in any other point in my career. So it should be a great fight.
Now, you talked on a conference call a couple weeks ago about, you know, you're not going to go in there and trade punches with him. That's not your style. So how do you win this fight? Do you stay on the outside using your jab and win a decision?
To win this fight, I have to dictate the pace, be in control. That's what the sport's about. It's about control. I got to control that man in front of me. I got to control the pace. I got to set a pace that he's not used to at this point, and you know, and just look to win every round. And if the knockout comes, it comes. If you can hit a man, you can hurt him. If you can hurt him, you can knock him out.
You think that he's slowed down?
I don't think about that. I don't think about him being any lesser of a Manny Pacquiao than he was before. I'm thinking about the best version of Manny Pacquiao, the motivated guy who was tearing through people.
How do you adjust? Like, you don't really know what to expect because you haven't been in there with him, right? So when you get in, if he's quicker than you thought or something, I mean, how do you make that adjustment?
Well, you never know when you're coming into a fight with a guy. You know, your opponent, you don't know until you know. You know, and what I've always been good in my career is adjusting. You know, and adjusting on the fly and figuring out ways to win. In the Bronner fight, I didn't know. I don't know how. Everyone says he's this big killer puncher. I don't know. You know, we say that, and you know, and he crushed a guy like Mike Alvarado, but. You know, he didn't crush me. I didn't, you know, at that point, I was going in there thinking, well, I don't know. Guess we'll find out. And we found out. I adjusted and I won.
When he did crush you in the first round there, I mean, you know, I think you made your reputation, maybe got this fight on getting up both of those 2 times. I mean, can you, how clear-headed were you and what was going through your mind in each knockdown when you're on the canvas and sort of, you know?
I was actually very clear throughout that entire fight. You know, Ruslan didn't really hurt me in the sense that he like rung my bell. You know, he put me that great shot that injured my eye for sure, and put me down that first time. But after that, you know, the landed punches are few and far between. And yeah, he's a great puncher, but you know, I showed that I can take a good punch or a great punch.
If you wouldn't have had that fight, would you have been as confident as you are now at being able to rise to the occasion at the moment in a big fight?
I can't really give an answer to that because without that fight, I wouldn't have got this fight. So, you know, my whole world changed after that fight. So it'd be difficult to see where I would be if I didn't have that fight.
Obviously, it's changed in a beneficial way for you, career-wise and money-wise. I mean, so the next step, a win over Manny Pacquiao, how does that change you?
I guess we'll find out when I win on Sunday.
And then you got to fight him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like a 2-for-1.
You can beat a man once, you can beat him twice.
Do you feel like, you know, you handled a disproportionate amount of the promotion? It seemed like every interview was being done was by you, and you know, it's almost like you were the star of the promotion.
I guess so, but I mean that's a you know, that's a cross I'm willing to bear. You know, it's a good opportunity. It's a great opportunity for the world to meet me, and I think, you know, I've had that. You know, how many times has Manny Pacquiao done tons of promotions leading up to a fight? You know, countless. My turn.
Do you feel like, I know you had a good schedule and everything, but when you're having to do so much of that work and he's able to do his thing, does it make it harder on you? Do you get a burden at all, or wear you down anyway?
No, I had a great team around me who, you know, was able to, you know, trim the fat and make sure we did the things that were absolutely necessary. And at the end of the day, that we never cut corners on what got me here, and that was hard work in the gym, you know, and we didn't miss anything.
Was this your first fight where you didn't have a job?
Yeah.
So how does that affect playing?
More time to do more promoting.
Basically. Not working, basically.
Yeah, but no, the biggest thing has been rest. rest and recovery. My body has, you know, felt great throughout camp. We've been able to push it to the limit that much more because I've been able to rest and recover and feel good every session so we can get that much better.
Did you do all the cooking yourself? So all the pictures were tweeted.
Oh, yeah, those are going to be in the Chris Algieri Champion Lifestyle Recipe Book, which are being worked on now.
That comes out next year, right?
Sometime next year. Yeah.
What is your master's in?
Clinical nutrition.
So, I mean, what advice would you give an up-and-coming fighter as far as nutrition?
First thing I always talk to anyone, especially athletes, is hydration. Because I bet you 80% of this room is dehydrated right now. You know, that's something that you need to be working on constantly. That's something that you can change today. So increasing your fluid intake is really important. But for a fighter, I mean, you know, be careful what a lot of people tell you. Just think of a balanced, well-balanced, you know, diet where you're eating, you know, regularly. That's a big thing. Eating small meals throughout the day, keeping your metabolism going.
And you said earlier that you were working as a trainer the week of the Provodnikov fight.
Tuesday, actually.
Who were you training? Were you training some housewives?
A lot of housewives, yeah. A lot of 40-year-old housewives and,
really?
And mothers, mostly.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah. We got great results, and I'll tell you, man, 40-year-old women work way harder than any guy I've ever trained.
Do you think Manny's working harder now that he's older?
I would assume so. I would assume he would need to.
From your analysis of him, why has he not shown the power that he did? You know, it's been 5 years this week since he last had a knockout. Why do you think that is?
He's fighting bigger, better guys. You know, he was scoring all those knockouts at 122, 126, 130.
Well, not really. No, you go back and he had Cotto, who's now the middleweight champion.
Cotto was really sucked out in that fight. He was very, and he was not the same guy that he is now. He's made a resurgence in his career. Hatton, from what I understand, Hatton was getting beat up in the gym by every southpaw in Las Vegas before that fight, and so he was already broken by Mayweather. You know, De La Hoya was a shadow of himself at that point. So, you know, stopping those guys in those higher weight classes isn't, you know, I mean, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. But, you know, it's bigger guys. You know, Manny's not a big guy. He's, you know, he carries a lot of power, but still, you know, you got bigger bodies that you're hitting.
What is the fight that you watched of his that you were the most impressed with and you thought he was at his peak?
The one that stands on my mind is Lelo Laguala. The first fight I ever saw. He looked like he was shot out of a cannon, you know. And that's the guy that I prepare for. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. I've got that guy.
Yeah. What about when Marquez, you know, Marquez gave him trouble all the time. Forget about the knockout, but just in all the fights, you know, it seemed like he knew how to punch at the right time and sort of get him, you know, can you, I know you're a different fighter than Juan, but can you adapt anything that was successful for him?
You know, we're different and we're similar as well because we're thinking fighters. Juan is a thinking fighter. He doesn't concentrate his defense as much as I do. Thinks more about counter punching and punching. You know, he took a lot of damage in all those fights. And not a lot of his fights. The guy gets dropped almost every fight.
Right.
But he's a thinking fighter and his adjustment, and I believe that he was able to offset Manny's rhythm constantly and really keep him, you know, off his game, and I think that was the big thing. And Tim was able to do that as well. Bradley, he was able to offset the rhythm from time to time, and that's when he had success.
So, do you watch the film and are you looking for that kind of stuff? I mean, are you not a big film watcher?
I'm not a big film watcher, especially when I'm preparing for a fight. But I'm a big boxing fan, so I've watched every one of the fights, you know, leading up to it. But I was a fan of Provodnikov before that fight, before we fought. You know, I'd seen his fights. I never studied him, but I watched all of his fights because it was fun to watch. You know, and same thing with Pacquiao. You know, he's in the biggest fights around. So, you know, as a fan, of course I've seen them, but I leave the studying and strategizing up to my coaches.
And did you ever get your friends over and buy a pay-per-view of Manny?
Tell you the truth, I was not the biggest Manny Pacquiao fan when he was actually fighting. I watched his fights, but I wasn't, you know, buying the pay-per-views. If I bought the pay-per-view, I bought the for De La Hoya. You know, not for her.
He had the black box. That's what he was. So he was pulling. What all did you bring home from the tour? Like, what kind of crap did you get on the tour?
Crap. I don't
4
know.
wins.
Yeah. You know, we had all
Four-
those,
tell me about the
all
4
those
wins.
events.
Basketball,
It was
baseball.
the tour was funny. You know, I've obviously never been on a world tour, but you know, being around your opponent that much, and they had us like playing games against each other and being in the same place a lot. And we didn't really engage each other much at all. People were like, God, they look like they're friends. Trust me, we were never friends on that tour. We had very little engagement. We were in the same rooms a lot, but we had nothing to speak of.
He said the day I saw you at the Venetian, and he said when I was talking to him, he said, "Yeah, we're friendly now, but when the fight comes, different story."
Mm-hmm.
Like, has anything changed? Have you seen him this week? And has anything?
And this is the first time I've seen him, and it's a different era now. I'm a different person. He's a different person. Training camp changes you. You know, the guy was, you know, cracking singers at San Francisco AT&T Park. You know, and the guy who's going to be cracking zingers on Sunday is a different guy.
Just is it because the rigors of camp will wear you down and?
Yeah, training camp it hardens you. You know, and that's what camp is for. I left my home for it's been 7 weeks now. You know, and I've been in training camp for 10. So it hardens you up, and you have a singular focus for all that time, and that focus is defeating another man. So any kind of warm well wishes are out the window.
Feel better, having that extra 4 pounds. So you don't have to cut that last little bit. I mean, does that make sense?
It's probably going to be better for me, to tell you the truth. I can still make 40 this week, but the 44. It's good because we're traveling, so there's different things that I'm used to. So that little bit of those extra pounds will help. But other than that, I mean, we made weight last week. We're good.
You said I think it was in LA that you probably punched harder than most people thought. Will those extra 4 pounds make a difference in how hard you hit?
It's possible. My team sure thinks so. My sparring partners sure say so. But I guess we won't find out till fight night. It's always about fight night. That's all that matters.
Fight night is fight day here. Does that make any difference?
I mean, if anything, it's probably better for me. I'm a morning person. But
Really?
coincidentally, at my training camps in Las Vegas, we did all our sparring at noon. And then this came up, and it's like, oh, okay, we don't have to change that. I hate fighting at night. Those late night fights. I think I fought Ruslan at like 11:45. I'm not a night person. I'm tired right now. It's almost 10. I should be in bed right now.
What was that? You and Bradley got into something?
No, I've never met him.
What was the he said something about you and you responded to him about your speed?
Have you been tweeting with him?
No.
Somebody's been tweeting for you then.
Oh. That's not good.
He didn't do it,
The
Kevin.
Twitter stuff will get you.
I haven't.
In fact, I wasn't able to open it, but I got a thing today. Tim Bradley's response to Chris Algieri's comment.
You haven't done anything? No tweeting with Bradley? No.
I haven't.
You right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Did Bradley say anything on that show the other night?
No,
I don't.
he hasn't been tweeting him. So.
No, I didn't tweet him.
Okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So
Some
there
of
was a
speed or no, it's like even worse discussing.
Okay.
I thought maybe there was a.
We thought you were.
You thought I was.
We thought. If you said you weren't, you weren't.
Yeah, Kevin does, but I don't think.
Oh, Kevin.
Aha!
Kevin.
Is there anything going on with Brad?
Kevin Rooney.
What happened?
Were you tweeting with Bradley? No. Okay. That's in that.
Not us.
Okay.
Oh well.
How far off is medical school?
Who knows? And we'll see. We'll see how long this career lasts. Or how long I want to do it for. That's really the key. But I'm young and I'm hungry and I'm able to do that now, so I want to do it now as much as I can, and as much as I want to. This is all about passion for me. If I ever lose my passion, I'm out.
Do you think people embrace you because of your story, or I mean, what is it that people liked about you? Do you think?
I guess we'd have to ask them. I mean, I would say that I'm real. I'm not. All the answers I give are the way that I feel, and I look and act and speak the way that I feel, and I answer questions the way that I think. I think so. Maybe the genuineness is what people may be attached to.
Well, that'll change after you win a few more big fights, all right?
No.
Get bigger entourage.
I'm me, man. My entourage is my family and my team. So we haven't grown since, you know, the only new addition has been Rooney. You know, since the Ruslan fight. And that Rooney, you know, we'll see about him. He's doing okay now, but we'll see how long.
Does it startle you to see how many people Manny travels with and the flurry that's around him?
No, I don't really, you know, I don't pay attention to that. It's not my concern what he does.
Nobody sleeping in your closet in the bedroom?
It's funny. Tim Lane tried to sneak into my room because I got a big suite, and he's like, "Hey man, anybody staying in that room?" I'm like, "You're not staying in my room." He's like, what do you mean? This guy be eating my food at night, and I can't have that. So no, I'm alone. I'm a loner anyway. So.
What were you thinking when you were talking about? You said that now that you're famous after the Ruslan fight, that you can't run through the neighborhood. What,
It's not the same. I can't go get a sandwich at the deli anymore. Like, you know, get in and out.
so you haven't even fought Manny yet, and then you're already that.
Oh yeah, in New York, forget it. New York has changed already.
Really?
The gym's a circus. Like I said, even going for a run in my neighborhood, people are honking and waving and slowing down and taking pictures. Like I said, going to the deli is like, oh man, Chris Algieri. Yeah, no matter what town I'm in, you know. And my brother wanted me to pick him up from the train station. This is, you know, probably back in September before camp. He's like, "Can you want to pick me up and we'll wear something to eat, you know, at the bar over there?" I'm like, "I don't want to go." You know, what do you mean? I'm like, he's like, "Oh, okay, all right, we'll order in." You know.
How did? I mean, do you feel like you lost something? Like you can't do what you want to do, and then your job took away from you?
Yeah, New York exchanged for me. You know, it's but that, you know, it's I have traded in my, you know, my anonymity and, you know, my you know, that lifestyle, that life is gone. You know, but what I'm doing is worth it, and it comes with it. So, you know, we just go to the next steps and see what I can do to deal with that. Probably get a place in Florida or something.
Is boxing like, you know, you're in, since you're on pay-per-view and big time boxing now, and the bigger purses and everything. When you compare, like, you were fighting smaller shows and not getting a lot of, you know, you're working just as hard, you're putting in just as much effort, and you're not getting as much compensation for, you know, glory, recognition, whatever you want to call it. Was it easy to get frustrated under those circumstances where you felt like you were better than how you were being treated, and that, you know, you needed to be at a...
Yeah, a year ago from right now, I was ready to quit. Ready to quit. Making
What was it that made you want to quit?
The fight at the Garden, Magdola, the Russian kid who almost died. He was 18-0. I was 18-0, and or 17-0, and I think we had the same record. He was 17-0. I was 17-0. I was at the fight when he got injured, went to a coma, and the guy was undefeated. One fight. And he is in a coma. And I went to DeGuardia's office and I said, "Listen, this guy just died. I'm done. If we can't make a move, if we can't have something go, what are we doing? I'm making lateral moves. I've just fought off TV twice in a row.
Right.
You know, I had an NBC fight. It was a great fight. Everybody loved it. And then off TV. What's going on?" And you know, I didn't have a fight for the rest of the year. I was ready to fight. I stayed in shape all year round. 3 days later, I got the Taylor fight. I was offered the Taylor fight, and took it, of course.
And were you the first choice for that fight, or did that come to you because somebody else turned it down?
I'm not sure who else was in the running for that. From what I understand, that was a very, very risky fight that I don't think my promoter was too happy to make, but we wanted it. You know, we wanted that opportunity. We wanted that. He was a dangerous guy. He had just knocked 2 guys dead on national TV spots. Victor Cayo and Raymond Serrano. 2 tough guys. So it was a dangerous fight, but you know, it was one of those fights where it was an opportunity.
Isn't it weird boxing? There's like in juxtaposition, like Mayweather gets ripped for, he wants to take the easier fight and not, you know. and then when you were at the level you were at before, you want to take the harder fights, right? So it's like kind of this strange.
Yeah, well, when you're getting paid $30 million a fight anyway, you know, and when you're getting paid 15,000, you know, and you want to make more, you got to take a lot more risks, you know. You know, that's part of the game. You gotta. There's a point where you get to where you feel good about your skills and you want to take that extra risk, and you get there, and then it gets to the point where you get to a certain point where you feel that you can compete and fight and beat anybody in the world. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, it really becomes easy because any fight that comes your way is a go.
What was your biggest purse before Provodnikov?
The Taylor fight was 15,000.
Okay. And what did you get for Provodnikov?
115. Which a lot of guys would not have taken that fight for so cheap.
And what do you get for a training session with a 40-year-old woman from Queens?
For 30 minutes was $45.
Alright guys, we actually got to get him upstairs. We're going to bring him over here for some of that.